everyone. It's the time of the day when we tell you about everything that's buzzing in the startup space. I'm Priya Sheth, and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to the Daily Dispatch. On today's show, I'm going to be talking about the top 3 companies that have been in news today, and these include Nykaa, ixigo, as well as Fincare Small Finance Bank. Well, headline number 1, 2021 is clearly going to be a year of the public markets. Beauty and cosmetics platform Nykaa has filed its DRHP with the markets regulator SEBI. Now, the company will be looking to raise as much as 4,000 crore rupees through its initial public offering, and the Nykaa IPO will comprise of a fresh issue of shares of up to 525 crore rupees and an offer for sale of up to 4.3 crore shares by existing shareholders. Well, travel app ixigo has strengthened its board by adding 6 new members who will join in as independent directors, and that is headline number 2. These new appointments come at a time when the company is working on getting listed. Now, ixigo has so far raised about $74 million and is backed by Sequoia India as well as Elevation Capital, among other marquee investors. Well, moving to headline number 3, digital lender Fincare Small Finance Bank has received capital markets regulator SEBI's nod to raise as much as 1,330 crore rupees through an IPO. The IPO will comprise of a fresh issue of equity shares of the bank worth 330 crore rupees and an offer for sale aggregating up to 1,000 crore rupees by promoter Fincare Business Services. Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who's been in news with a $400 million mega fundraise. Thank you for joining us today, Vivek Sinha. He's joining us from Unacademy. And Vivek, tell us a little bit about this fundraise. What are the funds going to be utilized for?
Thank you for having me, Priya. So this is our Series H round. This round values the company at about $3.44 billion. There's infusion about $440 million through this round. The round is led by Temasek, and we also got Mirai Asset to join this round in the cap table. We are also very grateful that our existing investors, SoftBank, Tiger Global, and GA participated in this round, and that only reinforces their faith on the Unacademy story. We also partnered with 2 great entrepreneurs in the consumer internet space, Ritesh Agarwal and Deepinder, in this round. So that's about the round. With regard to utilization of fund, I think first and foremost, we are a product-first company, so a large fraction of the funds will go into augmenting the product experience itself. And then business unit-wise, there are funds earmarked. So a part of the fund will go into cementing our the already leadership position that we have in the India test preparation business. Then K12 is already at $18 million ARR for us, but it's an obscenely large TAM, and we believe that we have built the best product in the K12 space. So on the K12 side, our focus will be to make our products available to more and more learners. So scale is going to be the focus on K12. Then there are third segment of categories, which is basically Relevel and Graphy, the infant categories. Relevel is trying to disrupt the jobs and skill space, whereas Graphy is a platform for digital creators to establish their own online business. In these 2 fledgling business, the focus will be on building a great product, putting together a great team, and then scaling up.
Seen Byju's, which has spent $2 billion in terms of only on acquisitions over the last 6 months. So does this mean that Unacademy is also building a war chest for acquisitions down the line?
See, we are of course competition aware, but we don't lose our sleep over, or we are not obsessed with competitors. With regard to acquisitions, an asset has to fit our thesis. We have done about 10 acquisitions in the past, and in each of those cases, there was a very strong post-acquisition synergy that we saw. That synergy could be in terms of onboarding a great team, that could be in terms of acquiring great quality content, that could be in terms of acquiring a very loyal user base. But the acquisitions at Unacademy never happens just because of fear of missing out. You also have to understand that even our mothership, the most mature business within the Unacademy group, which is Test Prep, even this business is growing at a very, very rapid pace. So we are under no pressure to grow through inorganic means. But yes, if an asset comes along our way, which shortens our learning curve, especially in the new fledgling categories, If an asset comes along which gives us, let's say, a great team or a great product or great content, then we decide on merit. But yeah, this fundraise gives us enough ammunition to execute our vision for the next few quarters.
Vivek, as I understand that, apart from the edtech space, you're also looking at diversifying into newer businesses. And that's a strategy and a stand that Unacademy has taken. So with this, what are the areas of focus going to be, and how are you going to sort of progress in these areas?
So recruitment is definitely a space that that we are quite interested in, and it gels really well with edtech. The other space is distribution of online goods, or let's say helping creators in establishing their own digital business. So these are the two spaces which, at least in the near term, we have identified, and we are going to go all out behind these two spaces.
Will you also look at further international expansion, because that seems to be a strategy that a lot of edtech players are looking at very seriously?
Yes, the short answer is yes. We will look at expanding overseas as well.
Right, Vivek, I also want to understand in terms of metrics, where does Unacademy stand today in terms of the kind of growth that you've seen over the last couple of months, just for the benefit of our audiences. Run us through what the growth's been over the last couple of months, and at what position do you feel you're strong at this point in time?
So, Priya, even before the pandemic, in the 12 months, even before the pandemic, the company grew by 10x. So between 2009, the fiscal year 2019 to fiscal year 2020, the company grew 10x. So Unacademy was growing at a very rapid pace even before the pandemic, and the pandemic only accelerated that growth. Another interesting bit is that the categories which existed in Unacademy in 2020, now those categories only contribute 40% of my business. So more than half of my business now comes from new categories that were launched in the last 12 months. So these are the two insights which will tell you about the rate at which we are growing.
Going forward, I want to understand for the rest of this year, what will be your big focus areas, specifically in the K-12 learning space? Are you looking at further collaborations? What would be your perhaps a three-pronged strategy that you will focus upon?
So on the K-12 side, I believe we already have the best product when it comes to the 6 to 12 category. We will cement our position by investing heavily into content, the best quality content. We will also explore other models in the K-12 space. So right now the product is one-to-many. We would like to build layers of the other product layers or other services layer on top of the one-to-many subscription that we have, and of course focusing a lot on content. A lot of the focus will also go on acquiring reasonable market share in the K-12 space, because like I said, even today all edtech players combined in the K-12 do not even command 3 to 4% of market share. So getting a reasonable chunk of the market is also going to be a focus area. So that's on the K-12.
But Vivek, has customer acquisition costs come down since the time we spoke last time, and since the time this pandemic has blown out? Have you reduced customer acquisition costs?
In the mature categories, yes. See, the way to look at our CAC is the categories which have been around for 1 year or more. In those categories, the customer acquisition cost have drastically come down. In the newer categories, bringing down the CAC is not a near-term focus. From the perspective of next 1 or 2 quarter, bringing down the CAC in infant category is not the focus.
Okay.
But in mature categories, yes.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Vivek, is on valuation, and we've been looking at the kind of numbers that have been reported. From $2 billion, it's up 70% to $3.4 billion, and in some reports, even $4 billion. So what is the kind of valuation picture out there in terms of how has Unacademy managed to achieve these kind of valuations in a market that's super competitive?
See, as management team, we try not to attach too much importance to valuations. Especially, we do not try to treat this as milestones which needs to be celebrated or tom-tommed about, because this is not the metric that we are trying to optimize, frankly. But yeah, it feels great when such strong backers show faith on your vision. Sir, as I told you, the current round values at $3.44 billion. So that's the accurate number. In terms of the competitive landscape, see, I believe that in edtech, it's a fairly large space, but in the long run, apart from building the great product, building great quality content, what would also matter is building a brand which is perceived to be trustworthy and transparent. This is a category which works on trust. Short-term hacks like mis-selling, aggressive selling, or opaque pricing can yield results in the near term, but in the long term, it is going to do damage to the brand. So net in the long term, I believe that the most trusted brand is going to be the winning brand in this category. And I'm happy and I'm very confident about the fact that at least today, Unacademy is the most trusted brand in tech.
A final question, Vivek, before I let you go on revenue metrics and the way forward in FY22. What kind of revenues are you going to clock at the end of this year, and what kind of larger targets in terms of onboarding that you're looking at?
In terms of onboarding, there are already 50,000 teachers on the platform who are involved in taking various courses on the platform, and that number is only going to rapidly go up once Graphy starts scaling, Kate will start scaling. So yeah, by the end of the year, that number will go significantly up. We have about 6 lakh paid subscribers on the platform today, and we believe that number is going to reach anywhere between 10 to 12 lakhs paid subscriber on the platform by the end of the year.
Okay, and in terms of absolute revenue, are you looking at again a 10x kind of growth at the end of FY22 year on year?
As a management team, we won't be satisfied with anything less than that, but yeah, let's see.
All right, so we can expect a 10x kind of growth that Unacademy will clock at the end of FY22, and also lots of acquisitions because now they have a very healthy war chest as well. Thank you very much for your time, Vivek, and it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Congratulations, and hope to speak with you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and have a lovely day.